Tell Me Something Good podcast. Listen, this is my first foray into this great medium, and I'm thankful that you allow me to come on your cell phone, your tablet, whatever device you're using. And I hope that every time I come, I'll tell you something good, hopefully make you want to do something good and be good, not only in life, but for the larger. I know you, people who may not be aware of you, see in you and see the good that you want for them. Listen, I realize I'm a pastor, so let me give you a little about me. This is my first time doing this. I'm a senior pastor of a wonderful church in Deerfield Beach, Florida, Radiant Living Worship Center. If you want to come see us, you can always come see us every Sunday morning, 9:30. We're presently worshiping at Deerfield Park Elementary in the beautiful city of Deerfield. But I also have the privilege of being the state administrative bishop for a wonderful group of people known as Florida Cocoa Church of God. And that's part of a great denomination, the Church of God out of Cleveland, Tennessee. I'm the administrative bishop of about 160 churches all across the state of Florida, different types, styles, but truly a wonderful, wonderful group. Been married 31 years, have 3 children, phenomenal children, and 2 grandchildren. And I'm telling you, I'm really having a great time being a grandpa. As a matter of fact, with the holiday season coming, I don't know who's going to have more fun with the toys, them or me. I'll tell you about it when we get to that point. But today, I want to just kind of talk to you about keeping your feelings in balance. And I began to think about this. You never know what's going to kind of knock you off. A few days ago, I was kind of walking and found myself tripping. Now, I don't know if I trip because I'm just clumsy. I don't know if I trip because my shoes weren't tied. There have been times I almost fell over just because I'm getting fat and old and just kind of fall. But yet, I tell you something, I'm finding that you can find yourself quickly out of balance. I've never, you get to know me down through the years. I thought I'd do this podcast. But one of the things I used to do is drink. And one of the things that drinking did to me is kind of took my balance. And I think about when people flunk the sobriety test, because their balance is off. How do we get back to that place of balance? How do we get back to that place of equilibrium? First off, you have to embrace that life is uneven. It's just come grip. Every ground is not steady ground. Some ground is just shaky ground. If you ever go to the beach, we live in Florida. When you go to the beach, you walk from steady, stable concrete in the parking lot to unstable sand. And for many of you, you need to understand life is not always going to be flat. Life is not always going to be steady, but it sometimes may be shaky. But then, once you embrace the fact that life is shaky, you then must recognize what you must do to accommodate for it. Here's what I tell people when you come to balance. Once I realize that something's shaky, I then have to ask myself, what can I do to make myself stay steady? There's some things you can do. Listen, you have relationships that aren't steady. You have friendships and family members who are not steady. And my thing is, once you embrace that and realize that, you now recognize, hey, there's some adjustments I need to make. I'm not telling you things won't be wobbly, but I can tell you can keep walking. Once you realize that, hey, since stuff is not steady, I may have to come up with a new system. That's the best way to say it, a new system, so that I can remain standing in an unsteady situation. But not only do you have this recognizing that things are sometimes unstable, hey, I may need to come up with a system that's a little more steady, but then I must come to this place that I may even have to separate myself to rest. Can I tell you something? Being balanced is hard work. And one of the things that we are done in this time that we live in is sometimes we think we got to be on 10 all the time. Well, guess what? Sometimes you're going to be on 1. Sometimes you might be on 0. But can I tell you something? When I find myself out of balance and I realize stuff is shaky and I've done my adjustment in my system, sometimes I just got to separate myself until I get my. Here's the reality of something. Things will always be around you. Can I tell you something? There's some thoughts I keep outside of me. I don't even let them get in. You know why? Because they make me unbalanced. Take me from my place of equilibrium, and then they make me emotional. And when they make me emotional, guess what? I become unstable. I know some of y'all so young. Well, there was a wonderful show when I used to grow up, and I love it still now. Matter of fact, I may bring it to one of the podcasts. I have a Hulk statue. I'm in the comic books. And back in the day when Hulk would come on, the Incredible Hulk would say, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Can I tell you something? Nobody likes you. Matter of fact, Snickers said it like this: you ain't your best when you're hungry. What they're saying is, when you get unbalanced, things be shaky, those systems be a little chaotic, and even after you've gotten your rest and the separation, you have to get in your mind, I still have to move forward. Now listen, I wouldn't be a good Pentecostal preacher without taking you to the scripture. In the book of Luke chapter 10, Jesus finds himself at the house of Lazarus, his good friend, and he has two sisters, Mary and Martha. And Martha is occupied for God. Mary is occupied in the face of God. Can I tell you something? That when you get off balance, even the stuff that should be sweet becomes strenuous. Here, serving Jesus should have been a sweet moment, should have been a great moment. But because Martha was out of balance, guess what? He said, man, you are troubled and worried about so many things. And here, instead of you being one who's glad that I'm with you, you're mad because someone is not serving just like you. That's a sign of being out of balance. Can I tell you something? There's a world that needs you to tell them something good. And you can't tell them something good if you don't feel good. You can't tell them something good if you're not willing to be good. But I promise you, if you find yourself walking out of equilibrium, you find yourself out of balance, and when you find yourself back in balance, you're going to be good, do good, and guess what? You're going to tell someone something good. Listen, I want you to tell your friends and family about this podcast. Listen, we're going to be doing something every week. If there's a topic, you say, Bishop Pelt, won't you give me a topic that you would like to hear me talk about, or maybe bring some information, maybe bring a guest on. I'd be more than happy to do this. I've never done this before. I'm not a professional, but I want to let you know, thank you for being patient with me. I hope I've told you something good. And as I always tell people, be good, look good, and tell someone something good.